take Saratan people like, say, Colton to come to the live, but we're just gonna go with it. That was weird. So see, Cole was saying, he was. We were talking about the distraction. And Colton was, asking questions like, "What if you found out that death was just a construct?" And yada yada. It's weird because I mean, it's like I hate to pat myself on the back so much, but I feel like I'm a lot more selfless than most of you. Like, the idea of what happens when I die doesn't matter to me. It matters to me how it affects, like, my children and stuff. I hope they're not devastated by it and blah, blah, blah. But I am so much more concerned with how do I make life better, not just for me, but for everyone else, than I am with death. Death is inevitable. It's going to happen. So why worry about it? Why think about it? I can't know until I do. I can't know. I can't know what happens until or we overthrow who controls our perception, who controls what we know, because there's a good chance science actually does know what happens. And and we could know what happens if we just overrode the Jews that control the world. But as long as we have the Jews in control of the world, we're never going to know any different because they don't want us to. We could sit here and question it all day. It doesn't fucking matter. We not only can't we know, I mean, it's just pointless. We're going to find out. You're going to find out. Don't waste your time on that. Think about the fact that Israel is bringing that reality to hundreds of people per day. Raining bombs from the fucking sky like cowards. Like the cowardly piece of shits they are. Mostly women and children. 37, 38,000 plus. I mean, the numbers are astronomical. And it's only because they deem themselves superior. And because we, Americans, have been trained, taught, programmed, brainwashed into thinking the same way, to thinking those are the chosen people, we allow it to happen. We pay for it. We're funding it. American tax dollars are why Israel is what it is the superpower that it is. It's because of you, average American, who, I don't want to, I'm not a part of anything big. I just try to keep to myself. And it's really disgusting. It's really disgusting. And this is the reality of the world we live in is so much more fascinating and impressive and scary and than anything. And everything else is to distract you from that. All of this Tartaria shit that just came out of nowhere It's to distract you. That's the purpose. It's to keep you fucking, keep you stupid, keep us from seeing what they don't want us to see, and fixing it. You can't know you can't get the answers you want out of Tartaria until you overthrow who controls the narrative now. Like, to me, the more I accidentally delve into Tartaria, the dumber I feel about all of it. You know, the you know, they've been these incredible structures and what, they're right in front of our face. We all sit there and go, how did they build that? How did they build that? And then you go, well, you know, they were more advanced than we are, and they, you know, clearly there was something else going on other than they were these, you know, steps away from cave people like we're told to think. And yet we just, yep, that's it. That's how it works. Got it. Okay. Yep, the 1800s and the wagons and the Abraham Lincolns and all that shit. Yep. Civil War. The Civil War was real. Yep, all of it. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And I just, you know, I'm so done with it. I'm so past it. You know, I'm sick of participating to placate everyone else's insecurities. I mean, my kid was talking to me about it today, and I had to be like, dude, I don't even know what to do here. I want you to do well in school, so I don't want to have this conversation with you to the fullest extent, because, you know, you need to be able to not you need to learn what they want you to learn first, and then learn the other side. But, you know, my kid was talking about how, you know, it doesn't make sense because they make too much money for them to cure cancer or anything like that. He's 11. He was just talking about it like, why would they give up all that money? It doesn't make sense. And they've picked up a ton of what I've said over the years. They've heard it, you know, they've heard it either osmosisly or directly. They've heard what I've been saying. They know who their dad is. And I'm not saying crazy shit. There's a man up in the sky, and he controls your thoughts, and he you know, he hears your prayers, and there's another guy down below, and, you know, that shit's nonsense. What the fuck? This is one of these shows that I just can't fucking stand. Glorify police brutality. Glorify the cops breaking the law so they can get what they want, so they can live the lives they want to live. Oh, but they're stopping the criminals. I was really hoping Colt would come back and continue the conversation, but I guess he is remembered. Why isn't it working? That's weird. It's weird, it's weird to talk to Colt and understand like where he's coming from. Like he's a few years younger than me, but he's also like I didn't have me. He's had me throughout the years. The Colton that first came on my feed was a completely different person. And, maybe I'm falling for something, but he was racist. He spanked his kids. He ate meat. Like, he was a completely different person. You ready? Did you finish your thing?
Yeah.
You finished your thing?
Yeah.
Play one more and then I'll be in, okay? Oh. So like, I get where he comes from, where at this point, where he is at this overwhelmed sort of point, right? Where he is there's so much of it to be distracted by that it overwhelms you, and we've all been there, and a lot of you are there now. I know I was, and I can tell you that understanding that there's a head to the monster brought clarification and brought a sense of calm that wasn't there before. As much as it's an overwhelming, scary situation, you can explain so much more. Like it's explainable, and you can dismiss things that don't matter, like worrying about what happens when you die. It does not matter. Put all of that, I wonder what happens when we die, energy into how do we prevent Israel from continuing its murder spree, its genocide. How do we stop the genocide? I promise you, the thing is, it's like this weird, if we can stop the genocide, if you can help stop a genocide of people that you particularly don't care about or don't agree with or, any of it, but, nobody deserves genocide. If you can stop that doing this completely selfless thing, I don't have any connection to it, blah, 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 we will all be rewarded for it. The reward is to overthrow the people that keep us all down. That's what's stopping this. That's why you're seeing it everywhere. That's why Jews are coming out of the woodwork. In Hollywood, you got Michael Rappaport and Seinfeld and John Lovitz and all these other people coming out and condemning the protesters for condemning a genocide. It's the Jews that make it about being Jewish. It's the Jews that are saying they are one for all for one. The Jews aren't coming out and saying, yeah, we're proud to be Jewish, but we condemn this genocide. This is unnecessary. That's not what's happening. They're the ones proving what pieces of shit they are. They're the ones taking sides. You know, they're not siding with the general consensus that something is wrong and needs to be addressed. They're saying that you know, not enough killing has happened, not enough destruction has happened, and that they can't stop till every last fraction of Hamas is eradicated. That's some scary shit they're talking about. For the people that supposedly had that done to them, they sure are keen on it when it's somebody else. You know, the whole Holocaust narrative didn't exist until after the war. You know that, right? During the whole thing, nobody was like, man, the poor Jewish people, blah, blah. There's 6 million are missing. Nobody was talking about that because it wasn't true. They manipulated the narrative to their advantage after the fact. They probably had it all set up anyway. It's why they did it. But you know, there was no Jewish Holocaust narrative until after it had all taken place, which doesn't make any sense. You don't just hide 6 million people. You gotta wake up, guys. Wake the fuck up. It's okay for you to not support them. What they're doing is horrendous. It's okay for your human side to come out and say, hey, this is crazy. I can't accept this. They've told you you're not supposed to think like that. You're not supposed to feel like that. You're not supposed to be a fucking, human being, but you are. One of the loudest screaming points is the fact that there's even 4 people here. Let's just say it's just 4 people here. There are 4 people here and not one person has an intelligent rebuttal for anything I have to say. If I'm wrong, why don't people fucking swarm me like you see everywhere else on social media? Social media is supposed to be dangerous, right? It's supposed to be that, like, if you go on there and you say stuff, you express your opinion, you're going to get attacked from all sides. And don't do it. Don't do it. Don't express your opinion. All these random trolls that you don't know, all these people you've never met will suddenly come out of nowhere and start trying to smash you. We all know that, right? Never happens on my feed. And I'm talking about, some heavy duty shit. I'm sitting here saying I'm proud of my anti-Semitism. I'm proud of it. I don't support Israel or the Jews at all. I think they're a disgusting cancer, and that belief structure needs to be eradicated. But I think the same way about Christianity and Islam too. I'm not a big believer in, if it weren't for religion, people would be out there killing each other like crazy. No, we wouldn't. Not any more so than we already do. People don't kill each other because we're not built like that. Yeah, some of us are, but most of us aren't wanting to kill people. The idea that you could kill somebody and end that existence, and that mother loses a child, that wife loses a husband, that brother and sister lose a brother and sister, whatever. We don't want to do that to each other. We're not wired that way. That's why they failed. That's where they failed with like Vietnam and shit. Because, you're seeing what I keep saying. Interview any fucking Jew anywhere you see. Not every single one is going to say the thing, especially when they know the camera's on. But you ask them, what do they think about this? And they're going to tell you that it's completely justified because did you see that 1,200 of us were supposedly, around 1,200 people in Israel were killed? Hamas and this terrorist attack that Hamas did on October 7th, and they took all these hostages, and it's like, well, wait. Like, never mind that Israel had killed 242 people so far that year. Never mind that they had taken thousands of people hostages. Never mind that this is just year after year after year after year. Hamas, in the most impossible, when you break it down, that's why there's no investigation. Have you noticed that there's no investigation, there's no sort of reenactment, there's not even footage. The footage isn't shown left and right of Hamas supposedly attacking Israel at one of its most heavily surveilled points in the region. Where's all the footage of that? It doesn't exist because it didn't happen like they say it happened. 5,000 rockets launched in 20 minutes by Hamas. Where did Hamas get 5,000 rockets to be able to, and where did they get the launchers to be able to launch to be able to launch 4 every second for 20 minutes, to be able to accomplish 20,000 or 5,000 in 20 minutes? Where is this investigation into this narrative? It doesn't exist because it's not real. And go ahead, show me what I'm wrong about. Show me the huge investigation into October 7th and what really happened. You won't find that shit anywhere. This is all bullshit. And then especially if you've been following this for longer than since October 7th, you'll see how it all laid out. If I was in charge of the investigation, I have a bunch of points that I would specifically look at if I was allowed to have access to them, and I could absolutely head an investigation into what Israel has done in the last few years and why October 7th wasn't anything other than an Israeli operation. I could prove it to anybody if you just gave me the chance. And especially if I had, an investigative team, the resources and whatnot behind me, and I'm just some dumbass. Imagine what it would be like if it was a high-ranking somebody. And yet it's not happening anywhere, not even Al Jazeera or anything. Nobody's investigating that bullshit. It's a flat-out lie. They lied. And it's not the first time. They lie all the time. Part of the investigation would be an investigation into Hai Shaline and what happened to the guy that was supposedly the number one anti-vaxxer protester in Israel, the number one anti-mask guy, the number one anti-Green Pass guy. He was the number one thorn in the side for the Israeli system, and then caught super COVID because he was arrested. 2 or 3 days later, he was taken to hospital with super COVID. He was fine beforehand. He went to prison, or he was arrested suddenly supposedly at a protest rally. And then a couple days later, he was admitted to the hospital with super COVID. 7 days later, on a Saturday, he released a tweet somehow, because again, he's supposedly under arrest, so I don't know how he's releasing any sort of how he has access to any sort of cell phone or anything like that. But he releases a message saying that he's too sick to talk or respond, but he thinks that he was poisoned by the police and that if he dies, it's because he was poisoned. And, but he thinks with God's help and some prayers and medicine, within 2 or 3 weeks, he'll be back on his feet. And then the next day he died. And then the next day there was a funeral for him. Because somehow, whenever a character associated with Judaism or Israel dies, they're buried within 24 hours, so there can't be any sort of investigation. We just accept that the woman was killed here in Detroit, and 3 weeks after the October 7th, and her funeral was the very next day. She was killed at between 1 and 4 in the morning, and not even the next day. That later on that day, it was her funeral. Nice and tidy, nip that in the bud and put it away so nobody can investigate it. It happens every time. And it doesn't make any sense. When Israel claims that 2 Palestinian gunmen shot up a gas station, killing 4 people, and 2 of those people are buried, have had their funeral and are buried within 2 hours of the thing? How is that possible? How do you get all of the family there? Just at the very least, how do you get the family to the funeral to be able to say goodbye to their loved one? Jewish funerals are really, really important to them. Speaking of which, there were never 1,200 funerals in Israel following October 8th, October 9th, whatever it would be. Their 72-hour rule that overrides all laws and practices and all that, where investigations take place and whatnot. Jews have to be in the ground within 72 hours. So their bodies get, whatever bodies are being looked at the morgue, at the time the Jew takes precedence, the other body, whatever they're working on, they stop and they handle the Jewish death. So they can hurry up and get that body into the ground. Can you believe that shit? Tell me I'm wrong. But just look at what you've been shown. None of it's real. I could absolutely lead an investigation into the fact that there are no real Israeli hostages being held by Hamas. That there's no Hamas. That Hamas is just an Israeli, offshoot. It's what Al-Qaeda was to the United States. Al-Qaeda. It's the same fucking thing. It's the boogeyman when the boogeyman needs to be there. Hey, what about when ISIS, a few months ago, when Israel was attacking a hospital, or 2 hospitals actually, and the focus needed to be on something else, so ISIS just popped up out of nowhere, decided to attack a Russian theater, killing 120-some people, and the fucking world stopped. Yet that same day, Israel killed 3 times that many people. Israel warplanes dropping bombs on civilian women and children because most of the men have already been killed or are taken prisoner. Again, you show me, anybody, show me the live feed from someone like me where they're talking about this kind of heavy shit and there's nobody talking shit to them in the comments. You ever seen that before? You ever seen a live feed where nobody's talking shit to the host? Not a single random troll is talking shit, huh? And I'm literally going against every grain possible right now, saying I am proud of my anti-Semitism, and not a single fucking person has something to say. Don't you think that's a little strange? I'm so sick of this bullshit. I'm so sick of this Jew control. Aren't you? You know, aren't you sick of the fucking the church being full of pedophiles and consistently getting away with it? Aren't you sick of the fucking prices of food? Aren't you sick of the fact that we don't have free energy? Aren't you sick of the fact that our history is obviously a fucking lie? Aren't you sick of the fact that going back to that random YouTubers can find pedophiles left and right, but the government can't seem to do it? Aren't you sick of Americans being sent off to fight in foreign wars because you've been brainwashed into that kind of bullshit? Aren't you sick of all this shit? Aren't you sick of us not living a fucking really good life? Where none of us have to work? Or if we do, you know, we have to work 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. Why isn't that the way it works? It's fucking insane. And it's this way because they want it to be this way. You're so distracted by everything else. You know, and the best distractions are the good things, are the real things. You know, the pedophile church is something that absolutely needs to be fucking exposed and eradicated. So you're going to spend all this energy and all this stuff just trying to convince people to say, yeah, there's a fucking problem? Because as soon as you finally get people to say, okay, yeah, there's a problem, you automatically reset and go, okay, well, who's in charge of that problem? Who's in charge of the laws that allow that problem to exist? Who's in charge of that network that has that problem to begin with? Why do they wear yarmulkes? Why do all the fucking clergymen wear yarmulkes? Yarmulkes. Everything works that way. Everything is this distraction that as soon as you can finally get people, well, yep, you know, okay, I accept it. They're spraying stuff in the sky. They're using planes and they're spraying shit and it's fucking tremendous. Okay, so who is spraying it? Who's paying for it? Who's organizing it? Who's doing it? Whose planes are being used? Where are they coming from? What laws are in place that allow these people to do this? Who's in charge of those laws? Immediately it goes back to the same shit. What else? Vaccines? Finally, you get people to admit that there's a vaccine fucking crazy agenda and that vaccines aren't fucking good and yada, yada, yada. Who's fucking behind it? Who's the one that's been trying to, who have been trying to get us to vaccinate? Why have they been trying to, but who? Who is behind it? Who makes all the money from producing it? Who came up with the formula that gets fucking injected into people? Don't you think if COVID was a real thing and you came up with the formula, the thing, you're the Mary Curie of today. You came up with the thing, the formula, the mixture of ingredients that supposedly cures COVID. How come you're not famous? Why did those people used to be famous and now they're unnamed? You have no idea. The entire system, the entire everything has been, you know, they clearly were new at it when our parents, our grandparents were kids. They were clearly trying to figure something else out. There had clearly been some sort of reset. But now they've gotten really good at it. They're lazy though. And their laziness breeds stupidity. They keep going to the same well because, you know, Jews like to poison wells and stuff. But Don't you ever wonder? Tell me another group of people that one of the accusations against them is that they're known for poisoning wells, putting poison in the well water so the whole population gets sick. Tell me any other group of people that's known to do that. So why would that randomly be given to the Jews? Of all the things to give them, that's just one of those random assignments. Who first came up with that? How did that stick? You know, there's just so much of it that like you can easily be distracted, and I've done it many times. You know, it's 2024 AD, right? Most people think AD means after death, but it doesn't. It's Anun de Noyam or some shit like that. I don't know how to say it. But it means in the year of our Lord. And the whole concept was created in 525 AD by a guy called Dionysius. However, the Western world didn't have the concept of zero until between 1100 and 1300 AD. According to what you're supposed to believe, they didn't have the concept of zero until around 1200 or so. How the fuck did they get to 1200 without a concept of zero? How did they do any math whatsoever without zero? How did they build anything? How any of it? Do you understand how stupid you're supposed to be in order to be a smart person? Like I'm the smart person if I know that. Well, actually, Western world didn't. What is Western world didn't have a concept of zero until 1200, Alex? That is correct. Like that makes me smart that I know that. I'm not smart for questioning it though. I'm a crazy kook conspiracy theorist because I say that shit don't make no sense. Do you get it? There wasn't a concept of zero until 1200 AD. Do you understand how unbelievably fucking stupid that is? How stupid I sound when I'm being really smart? Again, I've seen, you know, we've been hovering at like 4, 5, 6 people. Not a single person has anything to say. Especially since I'm wrong, right? At the end of the day, I'm the one that's wrong and spitting out all kinds of silly nonsense that's just crazy conspiracy theory, right? So why not make me fucking look wrong? Make me look stupid. Come on here. Make me look like an idiot because I say these crazy things and it's clearly not that because you have the correct information. Please, somebody come make me look stupid. I'm begging you. Where the fuck is that? Where the fuck is the opposition here? You know, it seems like if you're just going to sit there, 4 different people are sitting there listening to me say this stuff. And they have nothing to say. Like, this is foundational shit. This is the shit that why are we here? What's up? That's what we're trying to answer here. That's what all this is about, is figuring things out. And you guys, you're going to watch me, but you're not going to contribute? I don't know. You're going to watch Alex Jones too? I know Alex Jones doesn't want to hear your contributions. But at the same time, so many people would be commenting, he'd have to just pick and choose which thing he's going to read, because that would be difficult, I think. But, we're not there, so we don't have to worry about that. So, by all means, let me have it. That's honestly the most fascinating aspect of all of this is that to me, is the lack of opposition. If I'm shitting on everything we're supposed to believe and accept, and there are actually people watching me do it, I'm not arrogant enough to think that everybody watching me agrees with me. I'd like them to, but I don't think that's the case. So knowing that not everybody agrees with me, where are you? I'd love to hear from Christians. More than anything, well, no, more than anything, I'd love to hear from Jews. But the Christians that believe God, this, that, and the other, I'd love to hear from you. The Christians that believe a completely different religion is their God's chosen favorite people. Mm, mm, mm. It's fascinating when I see guys like Hitler, and I go, like, what the fuck was that guy doing? How did anybody fall for that guy's bullshit? I've honed my craft very well, and other than like making sure my hair is perfectly brushed, or I'm shaved like I should be, I guess, I believe my presentation is unrivaled, and I am so censored it's just fucking ridiculous. Again, where is the opposition? Seriously, where are the comments of people talking shit? I've never seen it before like it is on my page. I've never seen somebody like me welcome the opposition like I do and not get any of it. Like they're scared. Oh, look. My wife has candy. She probably wants me to eat it so nothing happens to it. Notice my mouth is closed. Apparently there's a lot of you out there that don't realize that's fucking disgusting. To chew with your mouth full. To chew with your mouth open. So, hey, maybe you can at least learn that. Oh.
Nate, if you click the trigger button, you run.
Tell me what I'm wrong about, people. That's all I ever want to hear. I don't sit here and want you guys to come in here and pat me on the back. Hey, man, I agree with most of what you say, blah, blah, blah. As soon as I hear that, I go, okay, well, what don't you agree with? If you say most of what I say, I'm really not saying a huge variety of things. I'm talking about a few subjects pretty in depth, but what don't you agree with? That's what I want to know. I appreciate those that support me and like what I do. I appreciate that, immeasurably. But I don't need to hear it. I don't need the pat on the back. That's what truth gives you. Truth gives you the validation that you don't need from other people. I don't need external validation. I know what I'm saying is true. And the only way that I can be invalidated is by somebody, showing me how what I'm saying isn't true. That's all. I don't, so much of it isn't even personal. I don't have any personal stake in Palestine. I don't have any Palestinian friends, any Palestinian associates, nothing. Nothing. I'm not even free Palestine, to be honest. Like, the idea that a Muslim or a Christian leadership takes over that's not what I'm talking about. Belch, excuse me. I'm 100% end Israel. Free Palestine is just the acceptable form of protest that won't get your Facebook page shut down. Because if I start saying end Israel on Facebook, that's a problem. By the way, if you're watching this feed, share it. I mean, if you know somebody else that's saying more than me, then share them to me and let me find out who they are. But, more than any, share me with people that are going to disagree. If anybody can get the ADL on here and have them come, explain to me what I'm getting wrong so I stop saying it. Don't just tell me I can't say it. Because that's really all Israel ever is or has. The only thing they ever do is tell you can't say those things. The Jews, the Rappaports of the world that have come out against the protesters, they're not denying anything that's being said because they can't. You can't deny that there's a genocide happening. It's fucking happening. What I want to know too is, where did those ICC charges go? The International Criminal Court, remember, they were supposedly going to file charges, warrants for the arrest of Netanyahu and Bezalel Smotrich, I think, and who else, and then a couple of supposed Hamas members. Remember? And they never denied any of the charges. The only thing that Israel and Israel supporters were arguing was that it wasn't fair to lump Netanyahu, the leader of a democratically elected governing body, to the heads of a bloodthirsty terrorist organization like Hamas. The problem was that they issued those arrest warrants at the same time, or they didn't issue the arrest warrants. The guy petitioned to get those arrest warrants written, and the fact that he was doing it all at one time and lumping Netanyahu in with Palestine, that was the thing that was so unacceptable. The Netanyahu camp never once denied that they were committing genocide. Biden, none of them. They basically just told you you weren't allowed to say those things. You're not allowed to say that. How dare you say that Netanyahu is doing this? You're just supposed to shut the fuck up, you dumb goyim. That's all it ever comes down to. Boy, I asked you guys to share the feed, and right away, 6 people gone. Amazing how that works. It's like that's the That's the phrase that triggers the fucking the bot to you know, throw people off. Every time I say, hey guys, if you're watching, please share, it knocks it down to 2 or less. I think that's kind of strange. There was 8 people here when I said that. At the same time, all 8 of those people went, oh, fuck this guy. He's asking us to share the feed? Fuck that. Tell me how that works, please. You know, I don't shy away from the argument, the conflict, the interaction, the whatever it is, the engagement. I'd give anything to get put on TV in front of a panel of experts, vaccine experts, religious Jewish experts, whatever, a group of experts and just me. And I get to sit there and ask questions and pick their brains on TV. Ask the questions that everybody, a historian. I'd love to hear all that shit. But they'll never let it happen. And you'd think if I'm wrong, why not? I'd be the perfect one. I'm easy on the eyes. I'm well spoken. I'm intelligent. You know, I could ask. I could talk about all the things that, you know, a wide range of people misconstrue and falsely have, you know, false narratives about. I could be that guy, and then your panel could destroy me, and then I guess I was wrong about all that stuff, huh? Well, I'm sorry, because I'll admit it. If I'm showing that I'm wrong, I will apologize, say I'm wrong, and never say the shit again, other than telling the story of how I was wrong. Nope, they don't want that. They don't want that video to be able to exist so that from here on out, if anybody like me ever comes up again, you could just say, hey, no, there was that one guy, that guy, and he said all the same stuff. Go watch. They had an expert, a panel of experts. They just destroyed him. He was a stupid conspiracy theorist, and they destroyed him. He was crying by the end of it. You know, why doesn't that happen? Why don't they give themselves their 200 proofs the earth is not a spinning ball? Because to me, that's one of the greatest, you know, pieces of alternative education ever created. It's not opinions, it's just this is one fact. Number 2, this is a fact. Number 3, this is a fact. And I always challenge people, like, hey, if you think the earth is round, go watch 200 proofs the earth is not a spinning ball, because obviously you haven't yet. Get yourself a pad of paper and a pencil, and you write down each number. As he goes through them, you write those numbers down and tell me which one you can debunk. And we'll talk about it. I saw a video like that, and it was some Jew, obviously, and I couldn't get myself to watch it. Maybe I will soon, but I did skip through it, and every time I skipped through it and I got to what a point he was making, it was just like, are you fucking kidding me? And I know that if I watch this, I'm just gonna be spending so much time typing in the comments a bunch of shit that won't ever even get answered. You know, Joe Rogan made a lot of money off of Eric Dubay and didn't bring him on one time. If Dubay was the fool and he was wrong, and Joe had his group of at least three people on there, he could have brought a surprise guest on as well, just so they had a little bit, that fat dude with the fucking, with the goofy green hair. Could have brought him on too. Why don't they do that shit? And then from here on out, anytime someone like me brings up 200 proofs, they go, yeah, that guy was on Joe Rogan and he got destroyed. Why don't they ever do that? Why don't they ever give alternative people like me a platform? So we can destroy ourselves, so they can destroy us. Especially since we're wrong. The alternative is wrong, right? I mean, not according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, who thinks it's dangerous if somebody says things that go against the narrative, and they shouldn't be allowed to say it. And of course, Neil deGrasse Tyson is never interviewed or engaged in a conversation with somebody who doesn't already think he's like awesome. Oh, it's Neil deGrasse Tyson. The closest you got was Joe Rogan, and Joe's so smart that I think Joe was still trying to help back in the day, and you know, he had Tyson on, and he was like, "Hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. This is one of those things that the people that think we didn't go to them, look at how, you know, they say it's because the guy keeps popping up, you know, he falls down and he gets yanked up. It looks like he gets yanked up like he's attached to cables and stuff. And there's lots of footage like this, and they point to this footage, those crazy bastards. And Neil deGrasse Tyson's like, duh. He's so stupid. He's so fucking stupid and arrogant. Did you see the video where he got mad? He was on the panel and he got mad and was like, rah, 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 and got up and started yelling. Boy, put your shirt back on. Okay, here we It's crazy. Oh. My wife's on.
Oh, wait till you see what I got. Oh, I'm so excited.
You got a boob job?
Huh?
You got a boob job?
I wish.
No. You know how goofy you'd look with fake boobs?
I looked great with big boobs.
Right, with big boobs, but fake boobs would look weird because they just wouldn't fit your body. Oh, sweet. I don't have the fucking pages for them anymore, though.
Pages are cheap. You could go buy pages.
No, they're not. Not 9-card pages.
I thought you'd be so excited about those. That's
I mean, it's funny, yeah. But
And then, so I have a bunch of these available to us.
what are they?
Like, they're organizational bins that stack on each other. I got this for unstuck to put all my papers in. Oh my
Cool.
gosh, I'm so excited about it. And then Steph gave me all of this. These are all like cleaning products and shit that she made. It's all natural. and more magnesium spray. She made her a bug spray, and she uses the
That's competition.
doTERRA oils. Well, yes and no.
Yes and yes.
But, pretty fun going through her van and stuff.
Cool. Anyway, I'm done. Y'all have a fantastic day. Pedophiles, kill yourself. And fuck you, Israel.